Hi. Today we're talking about using a reel-to-reel tape machine as an analog tape delay. So you can get one of these for maybe 100 quid to 400 quid on eBay, depending where you look. I was lucky enough to get this one from my dad, who didn't really use it anymore, and was happy for me to use it as a piece of music gear. So what is tape delay, and I guess delay more generally? Tape delay, and what digital delay is modeling, is the time in between the tape head that writes the information to the tape, or writes the music to the tape, and the playhead, which plays the information back. The further away those two heads are, or the slower the tape is moving through them, the longer delay you'll have. I feel like I'm explaining this the way Steve Brule would explain it. So there are lots of other videos which explain this much better than I'm doing it. But essentially what we're doing is running some sound into this machine. This machine plays the sound back. We then play that sound back into the machine, and then that's where we get our looping echo effect. Sorry. Once again, I'm not good at explaining this, but what I can show you is how to actually do it. First, let's quickly go through some stuff you're gonna need. Obviously, a tape machine, a mixer with ideally 4 channels, and an effects or aux out, some tape, an instrument to run into it, and for this case, a DAW, an interface, and a computer. Let's have a look. So my mixer has an aux out and an effects out, which lets me run stereo into the back of the tape machine. I then take the outputs from the tape machine and run those into tracks 3 and 4 on my mixer. The Juno is plugged into tracks 1 and 2. The left and right of the mixer are going into the interface, but if I was doing this properly, I put it through my valve preamp first to get that extra little bit of warmth. Let's make some music. The first thing I'm going to do is set up one short staccato note with the arpeggiator and hold function on the Juno, just so I've got something to use as a reference for setting the delay levels. I got the levels on this to a really nice place before I started filming, so I don't really want to mess with it, but to get a nice balance between the synth and the delay signal, what I'm doing is turning down how much of the dry synth gets sent to the master output. This functions as kind of your dry-wet control. Because this is a vintage tape delay, the delays are always going to be a little bit darker than the original signal. So that's why I want to try and bring that Juno signal down and bring the tape delays up. I would also play with the input and output levels on the tape machine itself, but as I said, I've got it to a pretty nice level, so I'm going to leave it as it is. But do experiment with each of the gain stages. How much signal you're sending to the tape machine via the auxiliary and effects channels, what the gain is on the tape machine, what the output gain is on the tape machine, what the input gain is for the machine coming back into the desk, and then how much of those tape channels you're feeding back into the auxiliary and effects channels. Now to my ear, that sounds absolutely beautiful. There's a warm and tactile quality to it, which I just absolutely love. Obviously, there's VSTs and pedals and digital reproductions that can probably sound exactly the same, but so much about music is the joy of actually doing it, and having this as part of the process makes me excited about music making. Another thing is the uniqueness of it. No one else has this machine. With all its flaws, imperfections, my choice of tape is going to affect how it sounds, how much gain I'm putting in, what the gain situation is like inside, how dirty or how kind of worn out the tape heads are or the inputs. All of those things tell me that no one else has a delay that sounds like mine. I also like it from a perspective of limitation. With VSTs, you've got so many choices of sounds, of delay types, color, EQ, everything you could possibly want. But I think sometimes having that much choice could potentially limit just making a decision. That's what I quite like about this. You have to go with the one thing that you have. For commercial composition stuff, or when I have to get something done quick, I'll use whatever I can just click on and get on there. I do also have a Boss DD6, which you can see in this video. That keeps me covered for my digital delay needs. The other potential drawback is that we're stuck with just the 3 tape speeds, but I am working on that, and there'll be a video at some point soon where I'll show you how I've managed to circumvent that in a way that doesn't damage the original parts. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that's inspired you to find your own delay. Even though it's a bit expensive, even though it's a bit time consuming, there's still something kind of magic about that. Till then, bye.